Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making time for the SeamlessHR team. SeamlessHR team. My name is Mary Gitari, and I'm running Brandspark PR. We're the agency that is doing PR for SeamlessHR. And I'd like to start by just asking the team to say their names, introduce yourselves, tell us who you are, what you do. This is a get to know each other session, not too formal. We will ask the media also to introduce themselves when they're asking questions. But for now, it's just who you are, what you do, and what you're coming to do here in Kenya.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you. Sil, the first.
Sure. Hi guys, I'm Sil MLP. I'm the Director of Engineering for SeamlessHR.
Emmanuel Okeleji, I'm CEO of SeamlessHR.
Seun Obatu, I'm Chief of Staff at SeamlessHR.
I'm Adito Akisumi, and I head the customer success team at Seamless.
Okay. So I'd like to ask Emmanuel, can you tell us about SeamlessHR? How did you start? What are your origins? What problem were you trying to solve?
Great, thank you, great question. So Seamless, our mission statement really, I think it's a good place to start, is to help businesses in Africa optimize their resources so that they could become more productive and successful. And speaking of origin, my background is actually in medicine, and I did actually used to do human resources, but of a different kind. But I've always been passionate about technology and about how technology can help fix problems at scale. So practicing medicine in Nigeria was great, but I was limited by, for instance, I was training to be a surgeon, and I could only do one surgery at a time. Given that the healthcare systems in Africa, could use a lot of improvement, I wanted to make more impact. I felt that building institutions would help create more impact. If I was a surgeon, I would, treat a patient a day or a few surgeries in a day. But if we build institutions, then we can impact a lot more people. And I already had a lot of entrepreneurial influences, and so my co-founder and I, Deji, who was our CTO, came together in 2011 to start dabbling into building tech solutions to solve first unemployment, and that journey transitioned us to where we are now, where we've sort of like built tools to help companies, because we figured that the best way to fix unemployment is to help companies employ more people. We first built a job site, for instance, but job sites can't create jobs, right? Job sites only advertise jobs that exist. So we figured that helping companies become more productive and efficient was a way to drive productivity. And part of the reasons why companies were not productive and efficient is because they don't have the tools to manage resources. And so we started out with human resources, and that's why we're SeamlessHR. In future, you see us going to other resources, very, very near future actually. We have R&D teams working on different other resources that we're optimizing for businesses in Africa. But what SeamlessHR does now is that we have businesses from hire to retire. We automate the entire process. So from hiring to onboarding to HR information systems to performance management, time and attendance, payroll management, all the way to exit. And we usually will focus on businesses that are medium to large. So we've got companies from, say, 50 employees at the lower limit to 20,000 employees at the top of it, and we help them manage all of their human resource processes.
Okay. Any additions from the team? Anything you feel he left out because he was trying to say three things at the same time?
And then it didn't really have much, and all of us are sort of like on the same page when it comes to what we care about as a company, is to help other companies to be more successful. We have a number of them in Nigeria, but we also think that we can help here in Kenya as well, and also in other East African countries. And the goal is to also still do that across Africa, not just in these two regions as well. And just mention that I'm personally going to be on ground next year as well, to make sure that we drive that vision home here.
Okay. So I'm going to ask now the rest of the team. You can start by introducing yourself and then asking a question. When you answer, please feel free to project your voice because of the microphones. They're not like directly under your and also just because of cultural influences. So please articulate more Thank you.
That's great.
Kennedy?
Yeah, my name is Kennedy from Founders Connect Africa. I wanted to find out, why did you choose Kenya as the first place to branch out of Nigeria, and do you have plans to enter into other markets in the region, and when are you planning to do so?
It's a great question. So Kenya, first of all, our Kenya office is the hub office for East Africa. So our approach is an hub and spoke approach. So it means that from Kenya we're selling into key markets across East Africa. So Rwanda, Uganda, Tanzania. We're operationalizing all of that from Nairobi. And we work with partners, channel partners across the subcontinent. In terms of going across Africa, yes, we've chosen Kenya first because first we love Kenya. There's a lot. Personally, I love Nairobi. It's a great city. Kenyans are very welcoming, and there are many structured companies in Kenya because the people who really need HR software are companies that are well structured, where there's some level of corporate governance, where there's a population that is large enough, and we find all those things in Kenya. And then there's also just a love on the adoption for technology. So Kenya is very, very tech forward. If you look at like companies that even gotten most investment in technology, if you counted Nigeria, Kenya comes very closely, even and Egypt too. So Kenya is sort of like a country that is punching way above its weight with adoption of technology, and that's really attractive to us as well. So in terms of going across Africa, yes, we're going to go across Africa. We're actually, for instance, I've registered our presence in South Africa, and we're going to be opening our office in Joburg about March, April next year. We already have a few customers coming out of South Africa already. Again, it's going to be the hub and spoke approach. So office in South Africa, covering the Southern African subcontinent, and then of course we're going to do Francophone Africa from Ivory Coast. We're going to do North Africa from Egypt. We really are passionate about the continent. We think that the work that we're doing is important. The continent needs this work to be done, and hopefully to even inspire other people to come in and build as well.
Right, sorry, another question would be, automation has been such a big word for most companies.
Yes.
Do you feel like there's an adoption of automation from companies in Africa, and where are we in terms of how many businesses are automating their HR processes, and where do you see that going in the future?
I'll give it a start, and I'll let Adeton also speak to that because she has customer success and she interacts with customers. When we started, people didn't know that we could get us. We have very close to 1,000 businesses who now use us between East and West Africa. And these are medium to large enterprises, banks, insurance companies, universities, and this is not just small businesses, right? And so, I mean, 1,000 companies in the space of 4 years, 5 years, is quite a good number. And people couldn't believe that that was possible. And we still see, like, we're not even scratching the surface of the opportunity ahead of us. So we see that there is a lot of demand in Africa. Automation is just like, technology has come to stay. It's not a fad, it's something that's come to stay. And we're seeing that adoption is increasing. Our sales motions are getting shorter. It's easier to convince people because it's real. You know, the pandemic, for instance, also helped to businesses to see the importance of technology. So adoption has also improved significantly since people started grappling with things like remote work.
Okay, so I'll just add to that. So we've seen smaller organizations also adopting technology, people with even fewer than 20 employees. And this is because you want to do more with less. And the easiest way to achieve this is to automate most of your processes. You're more efficient, you're more effective, and so you have to get on the trend because that's the future. So if you don't get on the trend, you lose your relevance even as a person working in an organization without automating your processes. And so we see HR people having a lot of conversation about automation, and we're glad that we're in that conversation as is happening, and we're also evolving with that conversation from that community.
Okay, hi, my name is Vanjera from BD. You talked about hire to retire. Could you expound more a bit on that?
Yeah, so it's everything from like the full life cycle of HR. It's like hiring, how do you hire an employee, from like posting jobs to selecting candidates, from searching and filtering and working with teams to hire, doing background checks and doing interviews, taking notes and all of those work, to onboarding, onboarding employees, taking them through the process in your company. We've got all that automated, to confirmation appraisals, all the way to like a store for HR information where you put all the information about your employees online, to things like payroll, calculating salaries, leave management, performance management, disciplinary management, all of those models that HR uses to manage the life cycle of an employee in the company, all the way to exit. So someone's leaving, you're calculating their exit, the amount of money they're going to, whatever the balance on exit is. It's helping you track if they have anything that belongs to the company that they need to return, all of the legal documentation and all of that he handles as well. So it's end to end, essentially for companies. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, please.
Yes. My name is Wangesh Kaneki from the Standard newspaper. So my question is, so it's mainly targeted to the HRMs, the HR managers. Do you see as though then that they would be resisting adapting to this model because they might become redundant, and how you managing that perception? That's my first question. And then the second question is, what are you doing for the smaller firms? She mentioned something about the smaller organizations like SMEs. So in Africa we have a lot of SMEs, and how do they leverage on this solution? Is it affordable for them, or is it just for the big corporates?
So two great questions, thanks. On the first question, we're not replacing HR people. It's like, so what we're building is not like, we're making their work easier. We're helping them do more. We're helping them be more efficient. We're helping them spend their time on strategic things rather than doing things that are rote. So it's like all of the hard work they have to do, just tracking who's going on leave, who's returning on leave, etc. The software just helps that work better. So we're not eliminating the job of HR people. We're making their work better, and we're helping to improve them. So they're really our partners, right? If we were building robots, for instance, maybe then they should be worried. but we're just automating their work. And I can promise you we're not going to build robots. I can promise you that. On the second one about small businesses, you want to take that?
Yes, and also to add to that you'll be surprised that many businesses are actually very open to using technology actually to improve